Good evening, ma'ams and sirs, and welcome back to another edition of AEW Dynamite Recap Show, brought to you by RP2 Vision as usual. I am your host, Ronald Ray. Let's get right down to it. And we start off the show with a Trios Tag Team title match, otherwise known as the Six-Man Tag Team Championship for us older fans. We have the challengers, best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor with Orange Cassidy, your new All-Atlantic heavyweight champion, going against the Death Triangle, Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero, Rey Fenix, along with the Bastard Pac. As you expect, a lot of high-flying moves, a lot of athleticism. At one point, the best friends had Penta, but both gave him a version of a pile driver, only for a 2 count to be saved by Rey Fenix. Speaking of Rey Fenix, Pac was wanting to use the Bellkeeper's hammer again on Orange Cassidy, but Rey Fenix stopped him, which almost cost him a match because Orange Cassidy came behind Pac, gave him a schoolboy roll, only for a 2 count though. In the end, it was the Death Triangle securing the win after Phoenix hit a stunner, and still your six-man trios tag team champions is the Death Triangle. After that, second match of the night, we have for the interim AEW Women's Championship, the interim champion Toni Storm went up against Hikaru Shida. But before that, there was a backstage interview with Britt Baker and her friends, saying they want to basically want to drop the interim part and be the official AEW Women's Champion. Anyway, very physical match here, back and forth, but it was Toni Storm hitting her move, the Storm Zero, for the 1-2-3. After that, she was attacked by Jamie Hayter and Rebel. And this also brings out Britt Baker, who was met by Sarah and Rio to help fight off the heels. Next up was a face-to-face verbal confrontation between MJF and William Regal. MJF taking us back in time to when he was 19 and had a WWE tryout. Regal said, "Hey, looks like you got it. Give me a good promo." Apparently he did. He said, "Look, send me a tape of a match, promo, blah, blah, blah." And after the third one, Regal said, "Hey, I'm pretty busy here. We're trying to get the best of the best. And once you make a name for yourself, then start back sending me tapes." So, and MJF said he read that email and he wanted to kill himself. Basically, it sounded like a pretty decent babyface promo. He's supposed to be, again, the heel, but one of those, hey, I'm, this is what I'm fighting for. This is what I've always wanted type, almost like the Shawn Michaels boyhood dream promos he was cutting. Then Regal went in and said, "Look, when I was 16, I was having to fight grown men to try to get in this business. So if a little email lit a fire on, and hey, you had an easy, kid." And he said, "Hey, if you want to be, don't quit taking shortcuts. Be it, if you're going to be evil, if you're going to be a villain, be a villain." I would, Regal saying he would insult Tony Schiavone, but never put his hands on him. And the only time he just liked using brass knucks to hit people because he just liked to hit people with them. And MJF's having to use a ring. Anyway, Regal turned his back and said, "Hey, if you want to be the devil, take your shot. MJF didn't. Regal turned around, gave him a smirk, and said, "You still got a long way to go, kid." After that, we get a little hype video covering the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship match between Dalton Castle and Chris Jericho. Following that, we had a backstage promo with the Acclaim basically building up their match with on Rampage this Friday against the Varsity Athletes. Um, and I heard they bought the trademark now for the Varsity Club, so I wonder if the Varsity Athletes and the Varsity Blondes will get together and form a club. Anyway, guess that's something to look forward to. Next up, we have the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship match with the Ocho, Chris Jericho, against Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle is a former Ring of Honor champion and current co-holder of the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Championship. Of course, Dalton Castle makes his grand entrance, very flamboyant, uh, with all of his boys. Uh, Sight to see. Of course, being more of a hard rock music fan, totally dug Chris Jericho's entrance. Nothing like having the fans, sing your song. Anyway, uh, first time I noticed Dalton Castle was, of course, Ring of Honor, and he was feuding with a guy named Silas Young. Silas Young was a man's man, tough guy, and he was one to win the boys from Dalton Castle, and because Dalton Castle, he, Silas Young didn't see Dalton Castle as a man's man, so to speak. Uh, but he was wanting to get the boys and turn them into men. Anyway, I think they did have a match, and Silas won them, and I think either I just quit watching because I didn't stay up that late, or I think it's around the time I got rid of cable. Anyway, it is what it was. Don, pretty good talent. This match pretty good. Opening up, Dalton Castle shined a lot using suplexes, and then during a commercial break and picture, we had Chris Jericho get the advantage. Before that, like Hager's one to interfere, so pretty funny spot where Don said, "Hey, give me a boy," and he tossed. He wound up tossing three of his boys out to Hager, and the last one finally put him to the ground. But then Chris Jericho did get the advantage, and then Dalton Castle comes back and hits him hits a Hurricanrana and a Tope Suicida. But let's see, Castle hit the Julie Newmar or apply the hold, but Jericho was able to escape. Ref bump with Audrey Edwards, which I think that's the first time I've seen it. But they went back trading shots. Fans thought this match was awesome. Did a chant and a clap. Castle hit his finisher, the Bangarang, but Jericho kicked out the last minute. Strike some more. Then the Judas effect from Chris Jericho laid out Dalton Castle, and still your Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion is the Ocho, Chris Jericho. After the match, though, they was going up the ramp, and they started eyeballing the commentator and said, "Hey, we're going to come after them too." And they, pull them from the desk, and looked like they was going to lay some hands on them until Jerry Lynn, another former Ring of Honor champion, came out and said, "Hey, don't do this." Of course, they wound up attacking uh, Jerry Lynn, and Jericho hit the Tombstone Piledriver on the belt on the rampway to Jerry Lynn, and they sold it pretty good. Saying Jerry Lynn had a neck injury, and that's the reason he retired. But uh, pretty good spot here. I guess they're gonna. I guess they thought maybe Jerry Lynn have a woman match. That could be interesting to see. We had one more backstage segment. Then our main event of the night was Hangman Adam Page against the champion Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And this was a good match. It was an all-out brawl. Uh, didn't even wait to get in the ring when Jon Moxley's coming out through the crowd. Page met him in the crowd. Then they finally got in the ring. Moxley bled, and at one point Jon Moxley had Page in the figure four. Then told Page he was number one with a middle finger. Looked like that was jaw jacking a little bit in there. I mean, it looked pretty good. But like I said, this was a pretty good match. Unfortunately, though, Adam Page took a nasty shot to the head from Moxley, and it knocked him out. I'm glad I haven't figured out how to do video. I might have been tempted to show it, but I didn't even want to show it in the picture. But looked pretty nasty. But from what I read, the guy's bell runs, got a concussion. He should be all right. Because he did wind up landing awkwardly on his head too on the mat. I noticed that when I watched it again. But hopefully, Paige is able to recover and get back in there. Like I said, right now I think that they said it's a concussion and should recover nicely. And of course, at the end of the match, I think they said 10 minutes before it was supposed to end. So to eat up some more time, Moxley called out MJF, and MJF, I think their next pay per view is going to be Full Gear. I think I can't remember the name of it now. I didn't even write it down. But anyway, that match is set up now for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. MJF's going to cash in his chip and go up against Jon Moxley for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. So that should be a good one. Pretty good show. I think I say that for every thing I watch, but a lot of good matches here. I will give AEW credit. They do have a lot of action. A little more wrestling to it. Sometimes it's there's a couple times, especially in that trios match, the first match. Good match, of course. I like Ray Phoenix, but it kind of looks. Yes, I know it's a work or whatever, predetermined, but still, it's like here's Chuck Taylor waiting for Phoenix to jump so he can arm drag him instead. Hey, you have plenty of time there, dude. Just give him a clothesline or something. But just little things like that kind of I've noticed a little too choreographed. So I can see where somebody like Jim Cornette probably bashes it, but you know, and the MJF thing is like, okay, I guess he's a tweener. Can't figure out. He's trying to do a babyface promo but calls himself the devil and supposed to be the villain. I mean, like I said, last couple of shows or recaps, I like him. Good in ring guy, good promo guy. This promo, he tried to do a babyface thing, then it's almost like Regal kind of undermined him a little. I mean, not on purpose, of course, but had to dial it back a little bit. But other than that, like I said, it was good. I don't care for any backstage segments. But yeah, so that's the end. This is the end of the this week's AEW recap show. You folks be careful, take it easy, and I'll catch you guys next time.